Hey everybody, Robin Taylor at Taylor Freelance, and we're here to talk about the hot new Walther PDP and the things you can do with it. The Walther PDP and the PDP Compact are very similar but not quite the same. And one of the biggest problems we have here at Taylor Freelance is explaining to people the differences between the guns and between the magazines. The PDP Compact, which came out first for us, has a lot of commonality with the older Walther PPQ. It takes the same magazines, it takes the same backstrap, and no doubt there's a couple of other parts that will hang together. But the main things that we're concerned with are the backstrap and the mags. The mags for the PDP Compact, being the same as the PPQ, will accept all of the base pads that we make for the PPQ, which includes a +0, 140mm extension for carry optics and limited, and 170mm extension for open and just having lots of bullets if that's where you're at. When the PDP full-size came out, we were surprised to discover that the magazines are not the same. You would expect that the PDP full-size would just be a longer version of the PDP compact magazine, essentially an 18-round PPQ, but it's not. The magazine itself is slightly narrower side to side, and the angles of the floor plate where the floor plate attaches to the frame are slightly different. So while you can technically put the magazine from one into the other, they don't always work. And you can see, I'm going to try and set this up to get a detail shot. I'll move over into my space here on the left. There are some ribs on this magazine that are not present on this magazine. So the one with the ribs and the blue base pad on it is a PPQ magazine that will work in a PDP Compact. The smooth one is the PDP full-size. Smaller in diameter, just different than the PPQ. This matters because when you go to buy base pads for it, the base pads for the one do not work on the other. And I've had lots of conversations with people about that. And I want to show you why that is. If I take the PPQ magazine and I try to put it into the full-size gun, it will go most of the way in. But if you look closely, you're going to see, I know I'm talking to my side camera here, but you can see this gaposis right at the edge here, where the angle is not the same, and compare that to a purpose-built PDP full-size magazine that comes up clean and flush on the edges. So maybe you can see that in the image, maybe you can't, it's kind of hard to tell, but that's the big difference between the two, is that difference in the angle and the side-to-side width. And the side-to-side width, between the side-to-side width and that angle, these two are not compatible. If you're buying a PDP full-size, you have to buy base pads for a PDP full-size gun. Same with the compact. If you're buying for a compact or a PPQ, you have to buy base pads for the PPQ or the compact. So one other item that comes up in the conversation a lot is, can I use Canik magazines? The Canik magazine is almost identical to the PDP full-size magazine, enough so that they fooled us to start with. We thought it was exactly the same, but it's not. Once we put it on an optical comparator and started playing around with it, we discovered that the position of the mag catch notch, which is about right there, is off by about 40 thousandths, one compared to the other. As a result, when you put a Canik magazine into a full-size PDP, the bullet presents about 40 thousandths too low. I'm being very approximate on my numbers, but basically the bullet presents too low and ends up hitting the bottom of the feed ramp, and as a result it will work some of the time. In our cases, like 8 out of 10 rounds, something like that. But that's nowhere near enough reliable enough to actually get away with it. It might do better in the full size in the PPQ line, but in the PDP line, it definitely sets up in the wrong place, and we don't recommend it. So anyway, there you go. That's our biggest challenge, understanding the difference between the mags.